Signing up for the new phone thing, getting all your.
Well, yeah, transferring. Oh, look at that. We're live. Can
That's
you
New York
believe it?
Vinny. That's Vinny, and he's in Seattle, and we talked. He talks from his mouth. I talk from my mouth.
And that's Michael and his mouth, Michael Knight, who is down in the beautiful city of Pasadena, California. And together with Mikey and Vinnie, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at
What time?
about 10:10 or so. Somebody asked me the other day, why do you do it at 10:10? And I said, well, it's kind of a little tribute. We were having trouble. Well, we have trouble getting on at 10:10, but we were having trouble getting on at 10 straight up. So I figured we would pay tribute to the great Signal in New York City. 10:10 wins, the home of Alan Freed and so many Murray the K and so many great DJs. And
What was it?
10:10,
Can you sing their jingle?
10:10 wins New York.
I guess that's pretty. That was direct and quick.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean, I
that
didn't
was
have a big. I
Mr.
don't.
Mr. WINS. We put together a big recording session for you. Said this isn't going to take long. Tell them not to even take off their coats.
Yeah, I don't remember that they had a huge. Now they probably did. I mean, I mean, they won all news in 1965. So
Yeah, they were early. KFWB followed right along.
yeah, and so I don't remember their whole jingle package. I do. I have gone online, and it actually is. It exists online somewhere because I was listening to it one day. If you are an old radio station person, like the old WMCA or the old WEBC, I'm sure they're on there for K Earth and a lot of the West Coast stations, most stations. There are a lot of those jingle packages have been posted on YouTube. So you can
Absolutely.
find just about any, what was it, Jams and Pams, right? Were the two
Well,
companies.
they were the ones that did the somewhat cheesy longer versions for the top of the line. You got the KFRC RKO jingles were all done in Hollywood with the studio singers, and they did something that hasn't been done since, and that is they synchronized their jingles all across the country. So if you heard the jingles for KFRC and the jingles for KHJ, they were the same, done by the same voices, done by the same people, done in the same session, done with the same tracks,
Right.
and there was a certain power to that national presence. Bobby Dale, KFRC.
Yeah, it identified it as. I mean, I think those were Group W stations that started that, if I'm not mistaken, Westinghouse, and yeah, all of those. There was a uniformity. If you went to Chicago, you went to New York, you went to Miami, you went to San Francisco, you went to Seattle, Los Angeles,
And
Dallas.
they had a double-edged sword, and it was the 22-minute clock, which was unforgiving. If you got a minute behind on the 22-minute clock, there was no way to rescue yourself. You were going to have to drop a spot to make it to the bottom of the hour. And
In
that's not
news, you're talking about, not
in the
not.
news. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not in rock and roll.
And that
In
made it
music.
impossible to do a phoner. You couldn't do a live broadcast with anybody. If you did, you broke the wheel completely. And if you had a breaking story, a major story that was live, you had to abandon the wheel. And that was a double edged sword. It was a gift, and it was also a terribly unforgiving taskmaster for you if you were on the air.
Right, but to be fair, at that time, I don't know that they were doing longer form. I mean, they wanted 10-second, 10 seconds was like max of any actuality that they would play.
Every lockout, even from the field, even if it was live, 30 seconds.
Yeah, they just I mean, basically, you had to have the story of the century for them to go off of that clock.
Who, what, where, when, and how. And you better get it done at 29. Take a breath and lock out.
Yeah, and they ran it like that for years and years, and I think that formula worked because it still works today. I mean, you go to WINS in New York, and it sounds pretty much the same as it did back in 1965. I mean, the jingles are different, and you don't have the teletype in the background, which is, Mikey, that's what we need. I think
We
we
need
need to
we need
we
a
need
prayer
to
cloth and a teletype.
bring back the teletype. I always liked that whole teletype thing in the background of the news station because it always felt like there was something going on.
The concept of rip and read doesn't make any sense unless you know what a teletype machine is. You have to rip the story, and then it's an option if you want to read it or not.
Who was the greatest rip and reader you ever saw?
Dave McQueen.
I, I was just going to say the same thing. Dave could take it right off the wire and make it his own in 2
Yep.
seconds. Yeah, he was. The late
You know,
Dave McQueen
you
was
know,
a
you know
newsman down in San Francisco.
how people cut the story and they line them up. They cut and paste.
Yeah,
McQueen would cut a story and it would be this long. It would be 2 lines, and he'd have it a little piece of paper, and it would be in line with what he wanted to go next.
he was amazing, man. To watch him work, to watch him just take a piece of copy, and he could do it with sports, with news, with weather, with everything, and he had them all just set up right on his easel, right on it, right in front of him, and he just would rip through them, and there'd be 3 words on there, and he'd have a story for it in his head.
Oh yeah.
And he was, undoubtedly the greatest rip and reader I ever saw.
Well, he had a monster voice, and so with that came a presence, and he was even impressed by it. So when he started to talk, he paid attention.
Yeah, very, very much so. It was a great. It was a lot of fun and very educational watching him work. I'm lucky. I grew up in the radio business. I got lucky enough to work at KKCY and learn from you, from Norman Davis, from Dave McQueen, from Marshall Phillips, from Dan Carlisle. I mean, you couldn't have paid $50,000 and gone to a college that would have given you more of an education about doing radio than I got watching you guys when I first got there.
There was a
And
lot of experience on that station, a lot of great jocks, and it's a damn shame that the owner of that place didn't have any more respect for it than he did. He bought a bunch of stations that didn't have any value. He had to service his debt. He had to sell them. That's not a business plan. That's just one stupid error after another. And Ivan Breaker, if you're out there somewhere, you're stupid. We're frozen. I said Ivan Breaker, and it froze the internet. Damn. I should have never broken the internet. And I was going to get 2x4s and short up today because the tubes of the internet run right through Pasadena. But damn, we had a special guest today too. Well, Vinnie, I don't know if you're on or I'm on, so I'm going to just keep talking. We, by the way, we talked yesterday that the 7th. Oh, you're back.
yeah, we're back. Yeah, you were
There you
gone
go.
too. So whatever
Oh,
you just
okay.
said, say it again.
I said that I'm sorry that I broke the internet because I have a bunch of 2x4s that I was going to shore up the internet today. It runs right through Pasadena, goes right by JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and the internet pauses there for a moment for refreshment and then continues elsewhere around the world. So I was just going to make sure the tunnel doesn't collapse on it today because, money's going to be busy.
Yeah, I kind of feel sometimes that the burying of George Reeves in Pasadena has something to do with why the internet. Maybe if he turns over in his grave or something like that, it interrupts. All the cords go through Superman.
Does his grave have a special closet where can he change in the grave?
I think there's a phone booth on top of it, if I'm
I
not
would hope
mistaken.
so.
There's actually a phone booth there where he can, and it's funny because I was watching, every Sunday morning they show 4 Supermans on Heroes and Icons, and I was watching Sunday morning, and there was this one thing where he was, Clark Kent was at the airport picking somebody up, and he had a change.
Uh-oh.
Himself. It's that stock footage of.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where the hell is there an alley at the airport like that?
You're
There's
cutting
no
in and
tall
out, Ben.
building.
You're
There's
stopping
no
and
tall
starting,
building.
Ben.
Yeah. I mean, the internet is for whatever reason buffering. So, but
Okay.
we do record the show, so that's why we just keep going, like we're just live. And
See what happens at the other end.
at the other end, we
Well,
just put it up and see what happens.
your story about George Reeve gave me a moment to reflect on something that came to my mind watching TV a couple days ago, and I've meant to tell you, and I keep forgetting it now because of George Reeve. I remembered it, and here's my story. George DeSantis is not George DeSantis. I mean, George Santos. Good God. Ron DeSantis is not Ron DeSantos. He is, in fact, a man you know who we've been looking for years by the name of Jimmy Hoffa. You take a look at him the next time you see him. There's been a little bit of plastic surgery. The swagger's still the same. The ideas in the brain are still the same. It's Jimmy Hoffa back from the dead to run the state of Florida and to try to claim America for his own fascist state. I saw it and I couldn't believe it. I said, my God, the governor of Florida is really Jimmy Hoffa.
Quite an age difference there, though, wouldn't you say? I mean, how would
That's why they
the
call it plastic surgery. If it was real surgery, there's nothing. They'd say, "I'm sorry, Mr. Hoffa, but there's nothing we can do." Plus, you've been dead in Meadowlands for a long time. There's not a lot we can do to put it back. And he said, "I want to look just like I did before." Said, oh, we can do that. Yeah, I thought you wanted to be handsome. No, we can do that. Yeah, and what's your name going to be? Call me Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't know, Michael. I mean, anything is possible. If we've learned anything in this life, it's that anything can happen. Any strangeness can befall us. Anything can happen, but
I sense that maybe it's just his spirit that has inhabited another peasant-shaped body.
yeah, DeSantis. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like you put Jimmy Hoffa in a $20 suit or a $500 suit or a $3,000 suit, it makes no difference. He looks the same in them. DeSantis, same thing. He carries himself like a street thug.
Yeah, he's buying off the off the rack. I mean, a friend of mine and I were having a conversation about this last week. This guy does not. He goes to
Not at
what is
all.
that, K&L or whatever that discount men's store is. He would have
Men's
been a prime customer for Dennison's, the
men's
men's clothing
warehouse.
on Route 22 in New Jersey. you know,
But I have to ask, how many pair of pants?
two pair of pants.
Thank you.
Yeah, one sport jacket, two pair of pants, and we'll throw in a tie.
And do they have the long, tall white boots, the rubber Wellingtons? Do they have them in white? Because
I
that's
don't
turning
know
out
that they sell those, to be honest with you. I
it's
think
turning
that,
out to be a fashion statement. People in Florida are wearing them.
boy, wasn't he embarrassed when he was wearing those? I
He
mean, I
must have
guess you
been.
don't think about it, but it's funny. The right wingers jumped on Pete Buttigieg for wearing these kind of strange boots
What
that
are
he
you
wore
doing?
to the. I don't know. There was kind of weird looking boots that he wore to the train derailment in Ohio, the first one. Of course, now there's two of them.
But today's another day.
Yeah, but today's another day. We could have three by
Hat
the time the
hat
day is over.
hat trick.
But when DeSantis wore those, I don't know how you would describe them, those go-go boots
Oh,
that
good,
he,
good one.
yeah, those go-go boots that he was wearing, everybody was strangely silent in the DeSantis camp. It was, well, he was there, and that's the important part. He was there with the people. That's the important part.
Wake me up before you go. That's going to be his campaign song.
For DeSantis,
Yeah, I think so. It's either that or springtime for Hitler.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, I saw Trump's speech at CPAC over the weekend,
Kind of
and that
weird.
was such a joke. I mean, you talk about somebody who's. I mean, you basically want to hire him if you want to vote for him if you want a mafia boss to run the country.
If you want a warm up act at the Friars Club,
Yeah, that's what you're looking, because all his speech is about is revenge
and
and
retribution.
retribution and getting even with people, and I don't know. That's not what a president's supposed to do, is it?
Revenge is pretty high on a lot of world leaders' lists these days. The guy in Hungary, the new man in Turkey, uh, Syria. Of course, there's Vladimir always. All of them are deeply involved in revenge and getting even with the world.
Right, and the guy in Hungary, I mean, he's like a big hero to the CPAC. I mean, they had him in to speak last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they sent Tucker Carlson over to do a week of live shows from Hungary, of all places.
And they wouldn't keep him there, huh?
I give $10. $10. Anybody that can find Hungary on the map who's listening to the show right now. You got one shot. No, I'm sorry. That is Albania.
Oh man, yeah. So anyway, yes, they are, Trump's speech, and I saw most of it, not all of it, but most of it, and it just looked like one retribution. One, we're gonna get. What did he say? I'm your revenge. I'm your salvation. I'm your this. I mean, he's really off the deep end.
What struck me about the speech was his voice sounds different to the point where it sounds like a Trump uh, imitator who's almost got it, but not quite. He looked not quite himself. I don't think
Yeah.
it was. I don't think. I don't know if it was written or if he just couldn't stick with the script because he can't, or what the case might be. But he seemed without the usual fire, without the context of previous statements. He was just making them. I'd be pulling ideas out of the air, not finishing sentences, incomplete thoughts, and I thought that the response was kind of weird. It seemed tepid.
Well, it seemed like half the room was empty. I mean, it seemed like, I mean, I thought there would have been, he would have had a packed house, and it didn't seem to me like the house was packed. Now, maybe they showed a weird camera angle or something. I definitely know when Kimberly Guilfoyle was there was
Oh
like
God,
11 people in the audience, and she has gotten scary looking. I'm sorry. That woman, I would
it's
not like
frightening.
to meet her. If I saw her on a dating app, man, that would be like immediately swipe left, block, and report.
What
There's
about
something,
what about
something
the
not right.
Botox? Has she tried the Botox? Something to relax the visage.
I don't know, Mikey. I don't know what she's tried, but she's definitely got something strange going on. All right. I wanted to bring. We rarely do guests on this show.
They won't come on. They just won't come on.
We even paid them. We've paid. We offered. I don't know. We offered Pete Buttigieg. I mean, we offered him $5 to come on the show, but
Robert
he
De
would.
Niro wouldn't do it for five. He said
Robert
15.
Robert De Niro said, I'm not with you guys. Sorry, but an event happened over the weekend. The sad event happened over the weekend for Seahawks fans that I wanted to get my good friend on to talk about this woman who has, Mikey. We go through as sports fans. There are certain people that rise up to be recognizable symbols of the team. Hilda Chester in Brooklyn with the Brooklyn Dodgers, Crazy George in Oakland, the banjo guy in San Francisco at Candlestick Park, the guy with the cape used to run around with the banjo.
Remember the guy with the afro with the multicolored wig that he wore?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
John 314.
right. But now, see, he was different because he would go from team to team. And I'm talking about more the fireman Ed guy for the Jets. People that are with one team and they symbolize that team. The sign guy in Shea Stadium, Carl Earhart, who would hold
What
up the
about
signs.
what about the people in the black hole in Vegas?
Yeah, yeah, the Raiders people, the Black Hole people, they come to symbolize that team's fandom. And I don't know that there was anybody who symbolized a team's fandom more than Patty Hammond, who is known and loved as Mama Blue, the Seahawks fan that extraordinaire. I mean, this woman has been a Seahawks fan since the beginning. She had a hair salon over on the east side that was all laid out in Seahawks stuff. I mean, and it really wasn't like, well, Mariners or Sonics or this. She loved those teams, but her heart, her soul was into her Seahawks. And Mama Blue passed this weekend after a battle with cancer. I think she was 92, 93 years old.
Wow, good run.
Yeah, good run. And I had been lucky enough to get to know Mama over the years. We went down and testified together when they were doing the Seahawks Stadium down in Olympia with all of that stuff. And also, the I was lucky enough during the Seahawks' first Super Bowl run to go over to her house several times and watch games with her and her family and her late husband, Tricky. When they were on the road, she would have people over the house and got to know and love this woman. She was just as, she was that fan. She was that fan that you
Was
recognized.
she offense or defense? What was her favorite? Did she have
Oh, I
favorites?
think she loved the Seahawks. I think she liked offense, defense, and every part in between. And
Yeah,
one of the
backyard fence.
guys, yeah, whatever fence. And one of the guys who knew her well and was a good friend of hers and was a good friend of all Seahawk fans because without Mark Collins, I don't know that we would have the Seahawks in town
Saving,
because he
save,
spearheaded to
save,
save our Seahawks.
well, saving the Seahawks became a yearly problem for a
It,
while there.
it did many times.
Saving the Seahawks, they were in
Come
jeopardy
on,
over and
Michael.
over again. Good morning, Mark.
Mark
Mike.
Collins joins us. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Michael's over here throwing us under the bus right out of the gate, and I didn't get him a chance to say a word.
Now, who was he thrown under the bus? Now,
Huh?
who was?
Whose side is Michael on?
I don't know. You
Oh,
want defense or offense, Michael?
I'm playing defense for the Seahawks this morning.
It's funny we're laughing, but I think Mama would like the fact that we're laughing and we're talking about the Seahawks this morning. Um, Mama left us on Saturday. Did a long battle with cancer, and it seemed to be kind of coming back. But at that age, 92, right? I think Mark, it's
Yeah,
it's tough.
yeah. She turned 92 on January, first part of January. Um, the fortunate thing, I guess, is when she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It was an early stage, but uh, that was a little over 2.5 years ago, and she was 89. And one of the nurses actually told her she wasn't going to make it to her 90th. Um, which at one point, I mean, as you know, Vinny, I lost my wife to cancer.
Yeah.
I've worked with cancer patients a lot. Our group, our foundation, Fans for Good, we help cancer patients. One of the things I always tell people when they're dealt with an adversity in life, whether it be a physical one or something predominantly, it could be cancer. You're dealing with two different battles, and okay, there goes Wilson.
Walter, bring Walter back. That's the best thing I've seen this morning.
Yeah. People think I named him after the ex quarterback, and that's not the case. I adopted Wilson. It was right when COVID started, so I went out and adopted this cat. I just woke up on a Sunday and said, we're going into, we're going to be, stranded on an island. So I went and adopted this cat, and I named him Wilson after the volleyball. So that's Wilson.
There you
The
go.
Well,
And he's
beautiful
mad.
cat, and the right move. The right move.
He's mad right now because he can't go outside, and he hasn't been able to go outside since before Christmas, and because he got treed by. I'm up on Beacon Hill, but fortunately enough, there's a green belt right behind my house that I actually saved that like 6 months from developers, about 6 months before I started saving our Seahawks, and it's full of coyotes. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Coyotes,
got
and
that up
cats.
here.
Yeah,
Coyotes
we
will
got tons.
yeah.
they're getting. I'm right by Dearborn Park Elementary School, and they got they've been actually aggressively going to the kids and stuff over there. So the principal's got Fish and Wildlife over there, and they're and then the tree huggers say, "Oh, you got to live with the coyotes," and like, yeah,
Not when
Well,
a coyote
then
takes a little kid and walks off into the woods with it. I mean, some of them
coyotes
little kids are little.
Anyway,
coyotes are
back
not afraid
back
of anything.
back to the subject at hand. Yeah, I mean, uh,
How did she get involved with the Seahawks? Was she been a fan for years and years and years?
Patty or
Yeah.
me?
No,
Hmm.
no,
Patty,
Patty,
Patty
Mama
was
Blue.
Patty and I both were season ticket holders from day one, 1976. We didn't
Ah,
know each other in the early days. I met Patty. I didn't finish the other one, but I mean, you're dealt with two adversities. The one originally, my mentor until Wilson interrupted me. You you have the physical battle, and you have the battle between your ears, and the one between your ears truly is the most important one because if you can't control the one between your ears, you're not going to be able to control and do anything with the physical battle. So, and that's what I just installed with Patty, man, from Jump Street, because she was all freaking out. And I said, Ma, you got to control that gray matter. And luckily, between her powers of that and just maybe the luck of the draw, we bought her another 2.5 years. And, she lived one hell of a life, man. I mean, in 92 years, first of all, anybody that lived 92 years,
It's a good run.
is done pretty well. But she put enough lifespans, things that she accomplished and did, and in those 92 years are incredible. I mean, I've only known her 27 or 28 of those years because I met her on February 2nd, or actually February 3rd, because February 2nd, Ken Behring announced he was going to move the team, and we met actually the very next day at FX McCrory's. And we joined forces from that, and then we've been best of friends since then. I mean, she was my illegitimate mother, as we called each other, or illegitimate son. But I mean, the other thing, we were so close. She went out of her way to try to embarrass me. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the video clips or anything that Norb has. Norb has a plethora of off camera stuff that the Seahawks don't have, and then hopefully and he's going to be putting something together. Um, at some of these because they're just hilarious. Because laughter is a healer in itself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Vinnie and
I
I
can
both.
attest to that. Yeah.
It is. I mean, laughter. If you got to be able to laugh. The sad part is, yes, cancer came back with a vengeance. Really, kind of started in January. She wasn't told until a few weeks ago, actually. About 3 weeks ago, I think it was, and it could have been a month, but they told her that it's come back and you have 3 to 6 months, and there's nothing they could do.
What was it about Mama? Now, I mean, I could answer this question, but I want you to answer it because I sit up in the press box. I mean, every once in a while I sit there, but I spend most of my time at Seahawks games in the press box. You're down there with the fans. You're talking to the people. What was it about Mama Blue that put her, made her so loved by fans, by just the everyday people that buy season tickets and sit in the seats?
She was, I mean, an icon, number one, but she was just such a positive person. I mean, she was like me. I mean, because we go back to the Kingdom days, man. We lost most of the time, but so you had to be proud of something. But she was always confident. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. But she just had this personality about her that was it was second to none. I mean, there's no way you could not like Mom. Um, and and nobody's going to replace her. There's a couple goofball fans out there that think they're going to be the next Mama Blue. That's not going to happen.
no.
But she's just she is just a super positive person. She liked to have fun. She was outside the box. I remember, her and my mom's, kind of got close the last years and have great conversations. Some of them about politics. Vinnie would have loved to have been in on those conversations. They're all in the same boat there, those goddamn whatever, but yeah, mom would say, yeah, I wish I met your mom earlier in life. And I said, I don't know, man, because Mom B was pretty wild. Back in the day, I know some stories. There was a time that she, I don't know, she was out with one of her girlfriends and they ran into the Seafair Pirates.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
And they ended up going out partying with the Pirates and showed up back home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And Dick is, Tricky, whatever. He's
Tricky,
like,
yeah.
where have you been? Oh, we're out partying with, they're out in the lake. I don't know what they were doing. But anyways, she was forbidden for hanging out with super pirates ever since then. But and Dick hated
Same
them.
thing happened. Same thing happened to Vinnie in Pittsburgh. They still
Dick,
no more hanging with the Pirates.
Vinny brought up Tricky, or that was her nickname for Dick Hammond, but it was Tricky. I mean, he really was. He was her straight man.
Yeah, he had the patience of a saint, the guy.
The poor guy at some points, he's like just, and there's times where she's done that with me. When we took her, Norm and I took her, and her granddaughter took her to Canton, Ohio, for Kenny Easley's induction into the Hall of Fame. Let me tell you, a 4-day trip with Mama Blue. And she goes out of her way. She will write things down. She will tell her granddaughters or whatever, she would think of something crazy or something. And she goes, I got to write this down. Because she was going to pull it out on me because she knew she could embarrass the crap out of me. But yeah, there was a point, I think, in one of Norm's more recent videos, we were in Cracker Barrel. We had just landed in Ohio. She hadn't slept on the plane.
And where else would you go but Cracker Barrel?
We went to Cracker Barrel, and we're in there waiting to be seated. And she strikes up a conversation with these two black ladies, and they're talking it up. And she starts going in how she just got me out of jail, and I'm her little boy toy, and this and that. I'm sitting there, and I'm just not saying a word because I'm figuring, okay, she's gonna run out of material, so I'll just shut up. If I say something, she's gonna add to it. Oh no, that didn't shut her up. I mean, but yeah, going through the airports. I mean, she's waving at people that she doesn't even know, and like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while, and oh, Vinny, if you knew some of the stuff, I mean, but I did get her back. I got her back, kind of on that trip, as the PFUFA. There's a fan hall of fame that we're all in, and it's like a big tailgating thing, and there's fans all over the place. And I think it was Saturday night or Friday night when Norb's out getting inducted, and we're sitting around a table, and somebody brings over a big cookie, and I don't think it's got white frosting, but it had green frosting on it. And me thinking outside the box, I'm looking at her, I look across the table, I go, Ma, do you know what's in that cookie?
Let's not be eating that unless you mean it.
She looks at the cookie, and she's like, you son of a bitch. And she throws the cookie at me. So the next morning, and we're at the continental breakfast, and they have the waffles and all these continental breakfasts have waffles. And our good friend Rod Long, as you know, he always pointed out the importance of callbacks. So the next morning, we're sitting at the table, and she's just about ready to eat her waffle, and I look across the table and go, Ma, do you know what's in that waffle? And she looks up at me, and she throws it at me. I duck. It hits the guy behind me, and she basically almost started a food fight in the middle of I don't know, the Comfort Inn or wherever we were at. But I mean, so I got great stories, great memories. I mean, it's sad to see somebody go like that. And Norm and I were able to go see her on Friday. She never really opened up her eyes, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I could tell stories, and I'm looking forward to the celebration. She's always said that I want my asses or some of my asses on the 50-yard line, and of course that's illegal as hell. But,
right. But if you're carrying some of the ashes in your pocket, and we happen to be walking on the 50-yard line, and they kind of drop out of your leg, I mean, things like that happen.
It's already, the front office already knows. They just we'll look the other way. But what's Mark doing? What's Mark doing out on the 50-yard line?
Yeah, it's just not going to be at halftime, but it'll be out there. Now, have you heard? And I know it's early, but have you heard of anything that the Seahawks plan to do in the upcoming season, or have they even kind of? Like I say, I know it's early, but I would have to think that there'll be some kind of video tribute, or some kind of tribute to Mama Blue for the home opener.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of special things going on this. I mean, everything's early again. I mean, even the celebration of life. We really originally thought we had several months to plan this and whatnot. And one of the things that she asked when she was first told a few weeks back that she only had a little bit left to live, but she goes, "Do you think they'll give me a party like they did for Jenny?" And I think Vinny. Do you remember when my wife passed away and
Yeah.
we had the big party up there at the
Yeah.
front lounge? I
Yeah.
think we'll do that, but I think we're gonna. I mean, we're probably gonna. I mean, we had 300 people with that one. I think we're gonna have to limit the people that can go to this one. I don't know I don't have the details. No, we're still working on it. It's still early, but we're gonna do a really big, shindig because that's what she wanted. She wanted
Yeah. Well, listen, Mama Blue was all about enjoying the game, enjoying the team. She loved the team. She loved the game. She loved to be that cheerleader that was down there with the hat, the blue hair and everything, and getting the crowd into it and getting people into it. And the players, the coaches, the management, and I mean every coach from Noel right on through I mean not right on through to Pete Carroll knew her and loved her.
Yep.
I remember talking to Mike Holmgren about her one time and just saying that he had never, and Holmgren had been in Green Bay and San Francisco. I mean, he had seen some people, and
Some irrational fans.
yeah, and there was nothing like Mama Blue. There was just nothing quite like this woman who really kind of stuck with the team like a good fan should through good and bad. You have a lot of people now. Team's doing good, they're there. Team's not doing good,
Yeah,
they're gone.
bandwagons. She was there through thick or thin. I mean, but that was her. She called them her boys. Those were her boys.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I'm sure he will be. Walter Jones was one of the. She had shoes and whatever. But the one thing she always wanted was Walter Jones's jock strap because she said she needed a new hammock.
Well,
You
I'm
don't
sure.
need it.
If he's
You
at
shadow
this live
is.
celebration, I'm going to bring that up.
I think that we can make. I think that we can make that happen, Mark. I think that we can get Walter to. I'm sure he's got one laying in the back of one of his drawers somewhere that he would be happy to contribute to
She
Mama.
used to she used to bug him all the time. Where's my hammock? Where's my hammock? And she's like, dirty old lady. She was a
She.
hoot, man. I'm telling you. I mean, and you know, granted, yeah, we're all shedding tears over the loss of this woman, but you know what? There's a lot of great times there, and I am fixated on positives. Anyway, I'm a type of positive person.
That's why I like you.
I, I no, I do. I mean, you got. Well, the other thing is you like because I don't back down from a fight. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, that's another reason. But I like you because you're a positive guy, and and,
or
and
just I don't know. I mean, it's like Vinny will tell you when I started Save Our Seahawks. I mean, there's a reason why Vinny's on that plaque because Vinny kind of took me under his wings, I should say, early on because it was
it stinks under there. I don't know how you got under there.
It was not a pleasant experience. I'm telling you.
Yeah. A wing can be a dangerous place to be under.
Yes, or
It was pretty phenomenal, but it was very obvious when I started Save Our Series, and Vinny will tell you this. It was everybody knew that guy has no clue what he's doing. He has no media experience. He has no political experience. And there were several people. There's Paula Jellison from King County Prosecutor Norm Melling's office. She kind of helped me a little bit with the politic part of things. Juan Cotto from Gary Locke's office, and then on the media side. I had, Vinny and Mike Gassno and some of these guys that were like, okay, look, we got to rein you in. We got to teach you the ropes here. And it was probably
well,
it was probably a good thing that I didn't know what I was doing. Am I right?
I think it gave you a great advantage because not knowing what's ahead of you is a gift.
Well, I was shooting from the hip. I met Rod Long and he goes, "What are we going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Follow me."
especially because the perception of saving the Seahawks was so much that a rich guy, Paul Allen, was trying to buy an election. And there were a lot of people who couldn't see that. And you added the perspective of the everyday fan who just was pissed off that his team was being taken away from him and wanted to do something about it, which was no lie. That's exactly what it was. You didn't have like you want to say, oh, this is a stepping stone for me to run for office. This is a stepping stone for this, stepping stone for that. Your intention was pure. You wanted to save your football team. That's it. That's all. And and I'm sure others wanted to see you succeed at that. Wanted to see, I mean, you seem to be a good guy. Back then, I thought you were a good guy. Now I know better. Um, you know,
He got a cat. He got
he
a
got.
cat. Give him a break.
Hey, never
There's a
trust
lot of
somebody with
people.
a cat that
There's a
walks
lot of
across.
people. There's a lot of people, Vinny, that call me an asshole or whatever it is. But the thing about me is you never have to worry about what's Mark thinking because he's just going to tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a straight shooter, and I don't know.
Well,
I don't have a
tell me,
filter.
tell me about the
I mean,
quarterback for next
I
year.
try to have a filter. I mean, I'm a contractor, so I drop F-bomb, I mean, all the time. And Norb even asked me, he said, all them times, all those radio interviews, all the TV interviews, how did you never drop a bomb? And I'm like, I don't know. Subconsciously, I didn't. But I mean, you wouldn't know that, by the way you hear me talk during the day, on a construction site. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're
Well,
here to
listen,
talk, we're here to
Mark.
talk about Mama Blue, not me.
Yeah, it's good to catch up with you, man. Let's you and I get together sometime this week, and we'll talk, and hopefully we'll give be able to give Mom a great send off, or I'm sure her family is working on that, and I know you're close with her family.
Yeah.
I just the one thing that was really interesting, we did the benefit. Mike Brown and I did a benefit for her over here at Shoreline.
Yeah,
I don't know,
when
last
we were
year
raising money
for
for her
her
medical
treatment
fund.
help. Yeah, and I found out something about Mama Blue that I never knew when that was happening, and it's that she made pickles. And her daughter brought me over this huge jar
Oh,
of pickles.
hold on 1 second.
He's got a pickle. The funny thing about nature, Vinny, nature gives us many things, but it will not give you a pickle.
It,
You have to
you have
make a pickle.
you have to take the stuff
Yes.
and put it in the other stuff.
Yes.
Hey, save me one of those, will you?
Well, they look professional.
Yeah, no, they were delicious, and I'm a pickle guy, man. I know pickles when I taste
You can't have the
pickles.
tuna fish sandwich without two pickles in there.
Did you
Yeah,
You
get
can't go to
did you
Wolf's
get in the
23 in
jar
Miami
of the
Beach.
hot ones?
yeah. Are those the hot ones or the mild?
Oh, well, I got mild and hot, but yeah, her granddaughter makes them now. So
Yeah. That's who brought it to me.
Shantae brought them to you.
Yeah. Well, save some of those for me because I think the next tuna fish sandwich I have should have a Mama Blue pickle in it.
Yeah,
Tuna fish
cool.
sandwiches.
Yeah,
Highly
yeah,
underrated. Wonderful.
But yeah,
wonderful
phenomenal,
experience.
phenomenal woman, and there's so many positives. She's left everybody with a plethora of just memories and stories that there's no way you could be. I mean, you're sad that she's gone, but the thing is, she's not in any pain anymore.
Yeah,
She was in
yeah,
a lot of pain these last few months, and
yeah,
I would get on the phone with her. I call her at least once a week or something, and we'd be on the phone, for 45 minutes, an hour, and I think the last time was about a week or so ago when she was still, doing, I mean, she was coherent and talking and whatever, but we're just reminiscing on old stories and laughing and her daughter was in the other room or something else, and after a while she comes in, who in the hell are you talking to? Because and she just said for me and her to talk, you gotta dwell on the positives, and again, I'm gonna go back to the laughter thing. Is if you can laugh, it's just
yeah.
it's the best medicine on the planet.
Well, she was so lucky to have a friend like you and Norb, and I know that people I talked to late Saturday night I found out about 11 o'clock Saturday night, and I texted you right away, and
Yeah.
and the people I talked to late Saturday night and on Sunday, um, there's a sadness among Seahawk fans, and
Oh
and
yeah.
uh,
Well,
and so it'll be good to see um, how the Seahawks handle it, and hopefully they'll do something that will memorialize her. Uh,
either one of the things that have come up, maybe we'll drop one of those flags from the rafters, or she should be on the Ring of Honor. Honestly,
that there's nothing wrong with that idea, man.
Well, the 12 is in the Ring of Honor, isn't it?
who?
The number 12.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah, and Paul
not
Allen's
so
in
much on the
there.
Ring of Honor, but there's people in the Ring of Honor that weren't actually players, but that's where she belongs. I mean, nobody's going to replace her.
Did she always
Yeah.
have the same seats, Mark? Did she have the same seats for years?
I'm up on the 300. I like being on the 40. I'm on the 40 line there and undercover on the west side, first row, because part of the reason I'm obnoxious.
Yeah, I could vouch. I didn't want to say anything, but I could vouch for that.
You're not there for a casual afternoon.
One person that can vouch for me for that is Alex Rodriguez sat in front of me at Super Bowl 49. And I told him before the game, because I was famous for clearing 2 or 3 rows at the Kingdom days because I have a whistle. I'm not going to do it here, but in fact, when Gastineau goes with the game, he says it's like sitting next to a tea kettle the whole game. But at Super Bowl 49, I told Rodriguez, I said, he's right in front of me. I said, I hope you got earplugs. I said, I'm loud. And he goes, oh, no, bring it. No, you're good. And he sat, honestly, the guy sat there through the whole game looking at his phone with a broken screen. I'd have to smack him a couple times and say, hey, what's the game?
That's okay. Alex doesn't hear anybody but himself anyway, so.
But so the middle of the fourth quarter, he turns around, you're the loudest freaking human being I've ever heard. I said, so yeah, I'm pretty obnoxious. Mama's down in the corner, right where she wanted to, when the new stadium was built, she got to pick her seats, and she was right down in the corner where the team comes out, so she could say hi to her boys and whatnot.
Yeah, and the players. I mean, you'd see it when the players would go back at halftime or at the end of the game. Yeah. They would, she'd be there, and they would stop and say hello and talk to her. I mean, she was about as much a part of that team as anybody who didn't play on that team or anybody who didn't work for that team could be.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing she didn't get was Walter Jones's jockstrap. So,
well, we're gonna work on that, man. We're gonna talk to Walter. We gotta get a hold of Walter.
There's no justice till that jockstrap is in the right place.
Yeah, we gotta get that jockstrap so it's right there with her when.
We need to get that. You're a Twitter or tweet or something. We just insert to Walter Jones's jockstrap for Mama Blue.
It's a worthy effort.
How about if we just call him and ask him? Do we have to do everything on social media? Can I just call him and say, hey, Walter, do me a favor. It's New York, Vinnie. Send me a jockstrap for Mama Blue. Does she want it autographed or just...
Well, she said she needed a new hammock. So we need Mama Blue's hammock.
We'll get that taken care of. Mark, it's good to see you, man. I'll talk to you during the week.
Hey, something you might be interested in, dude. Our friend Rod Long, he's pancreatic cancer survivor at this point. Anyway.
Yeah.
Him and Jeff Young are doing a stand-up gig up on Magnolia. I'll get you the information, but at one of the sports pubs or something up in Magnolia.
Oh yeah, Magnolia's the Cougar thing over there.
I think it's on the 16th because I'm going to John Mellencamp on the 15th.
Yeah.
How's Rod doing?
Somebody asked me, he said, "You want?" Well, they go. I'm a big John Mellencamp fan. I got, in fact, I'm sitting row 12, dead center. But somebody said, "Oh, Stevie Nicks is that night." I said, "You know what? I'd love to see Stevie Nicks." But I'm John Mellencamp way, John Mellencamp and I are kind of the same. We're both kind of jackasses.
How's Rod doing? Okay, everything's going good with him.
Okay, it's probably hit him a little hard because he was diagnosed when he was, he went through 6 months of chemo.
Yeah.
And then like a 12-hour operation. So, but he's not doing a lot of stand up. But I think it'd be great if we all went up there and for that show on the 16th. If you can make it up there, put it on your calendar, boss.
Yeah, shoot me the information, and I'll put it on my Facebook page, tweet it. And this way, maybe we'll get a bunch of people to come up there. And we can show them our support. All right, Mark. Listen, it's good to catch up with you, man.
Good seeing you guys.
Thank you so much for being here, Mark.
Michael, keep him in line, will you?
He can't. Nobody can keep me in line.
It's actually the other way around, but everyone thought I was keeping him in line, but it's simply not the case.
We try to.
Nobody ever made Vinny do anything he didn't want to, or stop doing what he did want to do. So
Yeah, well, I don't know. I got 3 ex-wives that would tell you different, but that's a whole different story.
As a matter of fact, each one of them told me what I wanted to hear.
All right, Mark, you take care of yourself.
I love you, my brother.
I love you too, pal. Bye-bye. And Mark Collins from Save Our Seahawks. Yes, he was the guy that was standing in front of the moving vans when they brought those moving vans in. He was the guy that parked himself and said, "You have to run over me."
Remember,
To
Ken Behring took just the furniture to Orange County. He never moved the team. He didn't have a place to play. He never made an agreement. He never signed any papers. But he moved the Seahawk team furniture to Orange County.
right, the only thing he had, they gave him a school down in Anaheim, I think, an old unused school, and they said this can be your practice facility. And so they moved all of the stuff down there, and then the NFL said, in one of the rare times when Paul Tagliabue showed a little bit of balls, he said, no, hang on, and blew him out and said, no, you get that team back to, and that was a lot of John Nordstrom and Pete von Reichbauer doing that stuff, telling Behring that you're not moving the team.
Well, the NFL's got a double-edged sword that they use. If you happen to be Irsay, you can just move your team in the night, don't ask anybody, and, well, it's done. What are we going to do, make him go back to Baltimore? That's what they should have done, but they didn't.
Right.
And the Raiders have moved, well, I can't remember how many times. From Oakland
They
to
should be
LA,
called a
from
hopscotch.
From LA to Oakland, from Oakland again to Las Vegas. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they're on their 5th move.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and nobody ever stood up to Al. I almost said Al Green. My God, nobody ever stood up to Al Davis.
And you should hear Al Davis sing "I'm So Tired of Being Alone."
Yeah, it's not good. I was standing next to him when he sang the Star Spangled. Matter of fact, I was singing. John Clayton and I was singing with Al Davis the national anthem, and not that good a voice.
All those times, and he still doesn't know the lyrics.
He struggled. He struggled with the lyrics, as many conservatives do, as we know, Michael. Oh man. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's kind of a crazy week coming up, huh?
I keep thinking, I was talking about this on Friday, that there's going to be a big story break. And I don't know what it is about this anticipation I have. And I don't know if it has to do with Trump or if it has to do with the war in Ukraine, or something is buzzing in my head saying there's a big story coming. And I hope it's something we can deal with easily and well and professionally. Anyway, that's what it's been eating me all weekend, and it started on Friday.
It would be good if it were a positive story. I mean, I could really use just one really good positive, something that would, get people excited, get people happy,
Vinny, I
bring people together.
I got to say goodbye because I got to get the door. But I love you, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. All right, take care. There goes Mikey. And so I'll wrap it up here by saying thank you so much for listening to our show. And we will catch up with you if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise on Wednesday morning at 10:10. Thank you so much. Follow us on Facebook. You can go to Michael Knight in New York Vinnie. You can go to NY Vinnie Riccici is my page. And if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, please, by all means, subscribe and click that you like the show. And we hope that we brought you a little happiness today and a little information and a few smiles. Until Wednesday, take care of yourself. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. Bye-bye.